So yesterday, what we covered was that how a person with vata will look. So if the person is very lean, you can know that he is vata. And if a person is very thick, he is a kapha. Very simple to see. So if a person is putting on weight, irrespective of whether he exercises or she exercises, that means he is a kapha person. And if a person were not to put weight, irrespective of whether they exercise or not, is a vata person. Any doubt? Okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. One second. Okay. So then, if we finished vata, so let's take pitta person. Before that, let us understand what happens to a all these three doshas. So I was telling my wife also just now is that let us say this COVID. So now Lata's floor has COVID. So if it's a vata person, he will fear. A pitta person will jump up and down in restlessness, and a kapha person will not move from his seat. As it is, he would have moved. He wouldn't have moved. Now that the virus is next door, he will say, "Okay, so until the this virus goes away, I will not exercise or will not go out or something like that." So you will get two extreme cases. One, a kapha person will be always morbid or lethargic or something like that, slowness, and a vata person will be jumping around and completely in fear, whereas a pitta person is always excited to do many things because pitta is bile, so it keeps on making that person get into temperament. So this is what we can see. So let us say in the mind, if the person has vata, in the morning I was having a walk and I was contemplating on it. This same vata can be used in a negative sense and a positive sense. Let us say if a person is fearful, that shows that this person has attachment towards something, and that makes this person fearful. So as soon as the fear arrives, the vata will, instead of a breeze, it will become like a thunderstorm or rather a storm. So it starts pulling everything uh, in its uh, in its sway. So immediately the blood pressure has to increase. So if there is fear, the next thing what happens is that either the blood pressure will go down if the person's constitution is a vata, and if the person's constitution is pitta, then Anju, Dora. So if that constitution is pitta, then his BP will go up because of the fear. And if it is kapha, then the person will be having fear, but he will be tolerant. So what if the mind doesn't have fear? Then what happens to this vata? You'll feel lightness of the body. The same vata. It's like a breeze. It's like a morning breeze. So the more a person tortures in the mind with vata, pitta, kapha, the same thing is reproduced in the body. So when I was walking on my terrace, because now if I go on the road, I'm supposed to be wearing this mask, and wearing a mask and walking is not the right thing to do because it blocks the air, number one, and it, because of the sweat, it will add more microbes and bacteria, which are even more harmful than the corona. So then you have only two choices: either to do at home like a yogasana or something like that, or just walk on your apartment block or on the terrace. So I thought that it doesn't really matter whether I walk on the road and walk on the terrace. So from yesterday, I implemented this practice and watching what happens to the fear. So, fear, anxiety, frustration, feeling let down, dependency, despondence, like that, many of these emotions which comes up, looking at the number of positive cases happening around the area, and what does that lead to me. So I was looking from this vata pitta kapha point of view. The sooner the fear comes, the worse it gets, meaning the anxiety will increase the flow of the blood. It starts heating up. For a vata person, it starts cooling down because the vata is air, so it cannot hold the heat. So the person feels lightheadedness, so feeling like collapsing. If it's a vata person, it's a pitta person, the BP will increase, and again he will feel lightheadedness because the amount of blood going to the each organ is so much that it's not able to control. And a vata person will get palpitation of the heart, and the pitta person might or might not get the palpitation. It depends on whether the vata is pushing the pitta, then that person will get. So this will spoil the cell structure. The cell membrane gets damaged. So that is the time when the diseases can manifest. So the best way forward is to observe one's breath while walking, while eating, while talking, while sitting, while standing, or something, any posture, and create that awareness that without the consciousness, nothing can move. Tena vina trinamapi na chalati. If we were to implement that, without that consciousness, nothing can move. So then this fear goes away. So as soon as the fear ends, you can experience a light breeze happening in the body. That vibration is totally different. So instead of damaging the cell, it reconstructs the cell. And this is how a person can develop ojas, because that is what is required, what we call as immunity. So if you take a pitta person by the body constitution, then the frame of that person is very moderate. Body weight is also moderate. Skin is soft and oily. It is warm. He will be fair skin, red skin, or yellowish. And hairs will be soft, oily. And the more the pitta, that person turns into bald. So in my case, I am a pitta dominant person. So there is no hairs. So there is scanty hairs, or the person will lose the hairs. Teeth will be moderate in size, soft gums, and since pitta person has soft gums, the gums normally recede, or they will have gum infections because of the acidic content in the saliva. And the teeth will be yellowish, and my teeth are yellowish, they are not white. And the eyes are sharp, they are penetrating, and they can be in different colors also, and they are very appealing in terms of uh, the eyes. Appetite, if we were to take of the person, then it is good and excessive, and it is unbearable. So in my case, if food is not taken at the right time, and then it becomes unbearable pain, and the taste is sweet and bitter and astringent, and the person feels excessive thirst, and the elimination is fine, that is the feces are fine, the physical activity is moderate. And now we look at the mind, the constitution of the mind. The constitution of the mind of a vata person is restless yet active. The mind of an pitta person is, that is predominantly pitta person, is aggressive and intelligent. So if you want intelligence, then you should have a pitta dominant frame. Otherwise, it's not possible. So those people who are intellectuals are normally pitta oriented people. Okay. Then emotional temperament, again it will be, it has to go as per their way. Otherwise, they get aggressive and irritable. And one problem with this constitution in the mind and in the body is that they get jealous of somebody. Pitta. Siddorako. And they are very fanatic in their faith. They don't agree with anybody else's faith. And the memories are very sharp. And they like action movies. They don't like slow movies, and slow things don't make them very depressed. And their sleep is little, but they get a sound sleep. Speech is sharp and cutting. This is another problem if pitta enters into the mind, apart from the body, is that they speak very sharp words, and it will be like cutting the person. And financial status, they would love to have a moderate, and they would love to spend on the luxuries. And the pulse is moderate, and it jumps like a frog. So if we take the constitution of the person as a personality, if we were to see, then this person will be like this. So out of the five of us today, we can observe what kind of characteristics we have, and that is our frame, bodily frame and mental frame. So now the prarabdha works on the bodily frame, it doesn't work on the mental frame. So you can change the mentality and correct it. This is where the prarabdha, sanchita, and the agami will come. I'll finish kapha, and then I'll explain to you how these karmas work. And then how does Ayurveda treat enlightenment and liberation and all that. So the frame of kapha is real thick. That means they are fat, or their frame is big, and they have a body weight is overweight. The skin is thick, oily, and they are either cool and pale and white skin. Hair is thick and oily and waxy, dark or light. Teeth is very strong and very white. And pitta person's teeth are very brittle. Same thing with the vata. Eyes would be big and attractive, and eyelashes are very thick. Appetite is slow but steady. Taste, they love pungent, bitter, and astringent taste. Thirst, they rarely feel thirsty. Elimination, it's very thick and oily, heavy and slow. Physical activity, they are very lethargic people. Mind is very calm. If you find somebody with very calm composure, that means presently kapha is running. Okay, and they're very slow. Emotional temperament would be, again, they are very calm, but they're greedy and attached. And memory, it's slow but prolonged. They can remember from any of the past data and they can say that on this day you did this, however, I have forgiven you, and all that. Dreams, so they're very romantic, watery, oceanic kind of thing, whereas the Pitta person would be filled with violence, war, anger, frustration, those kind of dreams coming at somewhere around 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. And their sleep pattern is heavy and prolonged, and the speech is slow, very monotonous. There is no excitement because they don't have Pitta. And financial status, normally they are very rich, they save money, they spend on food. And pulse, there will be broad, slow, and it moves like a swan. So, Vata Pitta Kapha, if you were to touch the radial arteries, and you will find that Vata is like a snake, and Pitta is like a frog, and the the Kapha is like a swan. Now, with this information, we can look at what happens to the mentality and how the Adhyatma works here, rather than going into further more details on Ayurveda. So, to answer to Srihari question, how does one come to know about their constitution? I think I've given all the three, from their body frame to the pulse. So, what additionally we need to do is the mentality, depending upon what kind of thoughts are coming. That's what is more interesting in this whole equation, because that is what the mind is all about, and then the Atma. So basically, Atma arises along with the mind. And as soon as the mind, meaning the Chitta, passes away, then the Atma also is not there. And again, it arises with another Chitta. So this is what the after Buddha, in the centuries after, they called it as a this Kshanika Vada. So that is every Kshana, it's going to change. So there became a very controversial thing that there is nothing called as Atma, there is Atma, and all that controversy started. And the Sarva Priyananda is trying to do a PhD in the Buddha teaching relating to Nagarjuna. And Nagarjuna had many different views of what Buddha had spoken, so there is a lot of difference. But the thing what we need to understand is that the Atma, what we have as Atma, not the Paramatma, but the Atma, what we call as Atma Ananda, is actually experienced by the mind frame. There is no other experiencer as the final outcome. So when that Atma also goes away in thinking that I exist, then the person is liberated. Now, what happens here in the case of Vata Pitta Kapha? Now, this whole body is consisting of Vata Pitta Kapha. Vata is the Akasha plus Vayu. Then the Pitta is the Jala and the Tejo, or the Agni. And Kapha is the Jala and Prithvi. So that means 5 elements. But the mind also has Vata Pitta Kapha, not only the body constitution. The body is coming through the Prarabdha, and the mind frame is also coming through Prarabdha. But this Prarabdha karma of Vata Pitta Kapha in the body cannot be changed. You cannot change the constitution because it is governed by the Mula Prakriti, which is Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. That cannot be changed, and the dhatus cannot be changed. That means if I am born with a scanty Rasa dhatu, the Shukra dhatu will be less no matter what I take, because my constitution is Vata. That can never be changed. If my constitution is good, but I am excited person, that is pitta. So that cannot be changed because it is predominantly rajasic in nature. A kapha dominant person can be sattvic and tamasic joined together. So a vata person is the sattva mixing with the pitta, with the rajasic. The pitta person is a rajasic person, and a tamasic person is sattva and tamas joining together. That can not be changed in the body, and that's the reason it's called as mula prakriti. Then what can be changed becomes a question. The only thing that can be changed is the mindset, the how we perceive things, how we arrive at a conclusion in the mind. That can be changed. So now let us say I have a pitta mind, and what that does is that it will not allow any other person to finish the conversation. It wants its own dominance. So as soon as any one of you, four of you, start talking, then I would like to add my view and make sure that my view is the right view and becomes aggressive. If not, then it gets into anger. Sometimes the pitta mind can show the anger then and there. Sometimes the pitta anger might not show the anger then and there. So when the pitta mind doesn't show the anger then and there, then it burns the body. So the moment it burns the body, the gap is created in the cell. So there the vata will get accumulation. And because vata has accumulated, kapha will go and join. So that turns into tumor, small tumors. And the more of those tumors will create cancer. Because pitta gives life, vata moves it around, and kapha makes the combination possible, joins together. So what I can do is that I can change the constitution of the mind from pitta to kapha, while my body constitution is pitta. Now what happens? It is a combination of sattva and tamas. It is better than just being rajasic, excited. Now the moment it becomes sattvic and tamasic, things become little easy. There is ignorance, but there is slowness. So the decisions are slow, and this person will allow the other person to complete. If not have entire clarity, at least he will wait. In the pitta person, in the mind, that waiting period is not there. It is spontaneous. The person would like to finish that activity then and there, and it's an irritant person, basically. Other people find him irritating, whereas a kapha person is calm, so he makes it more pleasing, but the problem is that that person is ignorant. He's slow. So sometimes his decisions are very weighty, meaning it just takes a lot of time. The pitta person is a very spontaneous in mind, and the vata person is fearful of any kind of decisions. So what I can do is, instead of going towards the vata, which creates fear, and the pitta, which creates anxiety, I can go towards kapha, which makes it stable. But I need to remove the ignorance. And this is where the meditation comes into force. With meditation, the tamas starts to evaporate, leaving the sattva. And basically, that sattva is the pure mind. So now I have solved the problem of the mind. I cannot solve the problem of the body. That is, whatever I am supposed to suffer in this body frame, that is 100% guaranteed. and the person I'm going to meet and the events that are going to unfold, all of that is part of prarabdha. Meaning to say that our meeting and whatever we are discussing, all that is part of prarabdha. That cannot be changed. But the perspective can be changed. So, what I can do now, I can become sattva in the mind. If sattva in the mind, then it reflects the consciousness which is Atma, because it's always there with mind. Mind being purified, it is always in bliss. So it is always in Atma Ananda, irrespective of what is happening in the body. Body can be pitta at one time, can be kapha at another time, can be vata at another time, depending upon the season, depending upon the environment which the person is right now in terms of eating, and that is ahara and vihara, both taken together. But this person is not perturbed by anything that is happening outside or inside. So if I were to take this COVID-19 as an example, a vata mentality person would really get frightened. He will do anything that is said to be done because he is so frightened in the mind, but does not understand that that frightening is going to cause the cell membrane to go in topsy-turvy. It loses the proteins, the building blocks for the cell, and that creates diseases. First it is created in the mind and then it is created in the body. Whereas the vata person gets frustrated. He wants to enjoy life, or he or she wants to enjoy life. They're very excited. They want to go to office. They want to go on tours. They want to enjoy good food, good lodging, comforts, luxuries, and all that. But this whole thing is damaged. So they are anxious to make that work some way or the other. So a vata person in the mind doesn't take risk. A pitta mind will always take risk. So a pitta dominant person will then leave all that what is supposed to be done, and he will do whatever he wants or she wants. And then if the consequence happen, and then he is going to curse because that person gets fits of temper because it didn't work the way he anticipated or she anticipated. So this is the pitta dominant or the rajasic mind. And coming to the kapha, the person with the kapha dominant in the mind will not move. He will just sit there wherever he is, just relaxing. But there is indolence, or it is the tamasic nature of making things heavy. So there is sloth and torpor. So this person feel very slow in taking any decision whatsoever, and he will sit endlessly in the place wherever he is. So they'll not even move an inch. So that destroys the body constitution because they keep on adding weight. So if not due to COVID, they will have heart problem, lung problem, and then they'll have diabetes and so many other causes because the mind is slow. So what we need to do is to have a sharp mind. So when we have to have a sharp mind, it should be pitta, but then without fear. So that means vata should be like a breeze in the mind, and pitta should be clear pitta, that is clear comprehension, which is called as mindfulness. A person becomes mindful, he becomes one with himself. For that you require kapha to make that happen. So kapha then gives the sattva guna out of it. So the person turns himself into sattvic in the mind. Cannot become sattvic in the body. It's not possible because it is caused by conditions which are beyond this person's control. So what is only there as per one's control is the mind, because mind has the will, it has the consciousness. Body doesn't have the will. Body is an inert object by itself. So what this person is doing is that he is unconditioning the mind. Conditioning the mind is having vata, pitta, kapha and rajas, tamas, sattva. So now it is defined by triguna. Whereas the person is becoming guna atita, that is, he is removing the gunas from the mind. Cannot remove gunas from the body, but he can remove the gunas from the mind. When he becomes guna atita, then he is liberated, because no gunas will now act on pure consciousness. Then the body, whether it gets into diseases, whether it gets corona or it gets whatever, it gets he dies or the body dies or this happens, that happens, the mind already dead cannot recreate another death scenario. So he is deathless. Meaning this person has died even before death could take him. Meaning the personality which he had, ahankara, is already gone. If there is nothing to identify with in the first place, then there is nothing that he can take it as himself or his own or whatever. So that being the case, the tamasic mind, which was having the kapha domination as darkness, is gone forever. It is now sharp like a pitta and a nice breeze of vata and a clarity of kapha, which is sattva. So in all the three, in vata, pitta, kapha, sattva dominates. And with sattva domination, it takes him to the Atmananda, and basically he then understands the truth. And the moment he understands the truth that he doesn't exist, the sattva guna is also transcended. So what did he transcend? Initially was rajas and tamas. Now he has transcended the sattva guna. And the sattva guna also not being there, he becomes guna atita. So with guna atita, he becomes self-established. That means sthita prajna. And once the person is in sthita prajna, he is fit for meditation. So now we are coming into Atma Samyama Yoga of Bhagavad Gita. So I just wanted to bring you to Bhagavad Gita through this route, so you'll understand how body constitution and all that, how Ayurveda is interlinked with Adhyatma. So hope I could give you some clarity on that. Any questions?
That's good explanation.
I think you have explained this in parts before also.
Yes, I have explained in parts, so today I explained in full.
Yeah. Together in one stretch you did.
Yeah, because that is required for us to meditate. So we need to see what is the kind of mind. So if a mind is restless, we cannot meditate. So we know it is pitta. If the mind is fearful, again you cannot meditate, it is vata. If the mind is calm, you know it is in kapha.
So you have even told us what kind of people we are also.
Yes.
That time.
Yes, I told you. I am aware of it, but I thought that because we are going to Dhyana Yoga of Bhagavad Gita, I thought it will be good. So shall we continue on then, Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, I think you should ask Srihari whether he has any questions. Because he is the one who asked,
Yes, he is the one who asked.
Yeah, at least the characteristics described are mix of, for me, I try to capture them and understand myself. Maybe Vilas can help me to understand what kind of person. Maybe we can take it separately also.
No, it is okay. We can continue right now also. It's fine because we have taken this subject. So what is your confusion?
No, in the day, I mean, I see myself in all the three. So
No, all
the
of us
state
are
of
in
mind.
all of us are in all the three.
Okay. So, okay, the intention is to try to be more of
Yeah. What happened? Am I there?
You are there.
Yeah, you are there. See, Hari, no idea.
We are not able to hear you, Siri.
I
See,
don't know.
Hari,
Maybe his internet link went down or something.
I think internet issue for him.
Yeah, maybe he would be speaking and there's no internet. Okay, till he comes back, we can talk something or we can start on this.
So I think he wanted to know what type of person, what type of uh, mind or body he has.
His frame is.
Yeah,
His frame.
he's back.
hi.
Okay.
Yeah, you're back. Okay, go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
sorry, there was a network failure. Power
Yes.
failure.
Yes.
Yeah, just wanted to know that the intention is to make sure that in a day, whenever we observe ourselves, and then if we see that we are in the vata or the pitta state, we tend to move towards the kapha state so that the mind remains calm.
Yes, that's the whole idea.
Okay.
See, Srihari, whether this project or that project, family or environment or diseases or whatever, this affects us in these three ways. Either we get agitated by it or anxious about it or fearful about it. That means we are in that mind that present at that time is in vata and pitta. Both will be there. It's not only one. Sometimes we are fearful and anxious at the same time. That anxiety will be there. So let us say, example, now that apartment building, what Lata was saying, now that is happening on the same floor. So there will be some anxiety. Whether it is anxiety for Lata or for her daughter or for her husband or for somebody else differs. And she might not be anxious because at that time if kapha is predominant and then it not allow that person to get into anxiety. So the person looks very calm. So then another person can ask, how come you are so calm when these things are happening? So much of commotion happening, how come you are calm? So when you were to observe it, it is calmness is due to kapha. So the basic mental state we have to see, whether it is pitta or vata and kapha. So the objective is to go towards kapha rather than vata and pitta. So you need to observe. So this is where two things have to happen, Sri Hari. One is that we need to observe. That means we need to focus our attention there. And being in attention is called as awareness. That is, you create an awareness that what is happening. You can, just like the light being switched on without any condition, you just watch everything without preconditions, preconceived notions. Just watch it. Don't do anything about it. Just watch it. You watch it as though you are not that person. This is the practice what we need to do. I think that day Lata was also explaining to Bhatt. I think he picked it up. So one thing we all need to do is to watch it like a third party person. So how to do it is consider yourself to be that consciousness, which is there everywhere. And you are watching over every activity which is happening, the tree and the table and the chair or the laptop, people, everything, the light is falling on that. As you practice this, you will, it just clicks right now, or it can click after a few minutes or few days or whatever it is, it just clicks. Once it clicks, you will feel that you don't exist. That's such a happy feeling. It's like filled up. Your heart, so you have to keep on watching your heart, what happens. It starts filling up. You feel like you have eaten a nice meal of whatever you had desired. Now you don't require anything more than that. If that is the feeling you're getting, even right now, that means you have attained the Atma Ananda. That is, you have established within yourself. Because you being consciousness, everything is coming into existence. It's not that things are existing and then you are watching it. It's because of you, things are existing. The moment you close your eyes, that very thing goes away. It can be in your memory that it existed, but right now, if you were to close your eyes and watch, there's nothing at all being existing in the mind frame. But things are there outside, that is correct. But in your mind frame, it doesn't exist. So because of the consciousness, eyes get opened up, ears get opened up, nose gets opened up, tongue gets opened up, the touch thing gets opened up. So all of that is happening because of consciousness. So the objective here is to calm the mind. So going towards the sattva would be the best thing that can be happening. So in VPK, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, it is better to go towards Kapha in the mind. So person doesn't get worked up and he sees everything from awareness. You're just aware. And you bring in observation. Observation is an ability to focus. So just like a camera, you can observe the event, but the awareness that you are the camera is what it is all about. Now, if you take a camera as an instrument and the person who is watching the camera is pure consciousness, the objects appearing outside, this pure consciousness has no interest, but this person has interest to click that particular picture. So we can consider, if the person is ignorant, kind, we can consider that the camera is like the consciousness. It is not interested in knowing what you're clicking. Whereas the person inside, Atma, that knows what to click. So when it clicks that photograph, it feels happy, but that is a limited happiness. As soon as it has clicked a bird, or it has clicked a mountain, it has clicked a valley, it has clicked something, that becomes a piece of memory. It is dead. No matter whether it clicked a tiger or a lion or a bird or whatever. But camera is not attached to it. That's Brahmananda. And this Atma is attached to that photograph. That is limited. And that limited thing, what we enjoy in this world, is called as karma. And we see this karma in everything we do. So the basic idea is to be aware, just like that camera, aware of the surroundings, what is being shown. Because of the consciousness, there is sight. Just like if the camera were to be switched on, then only the shutter opens up. Similarly, because of the consciousness, the eyes opens up. So if I'm watching something, it's not I am watching it. It's because of the consciousness, the sight is seen. Because of the consciousness, the ear is able to hear the sound. Because of the same consciousness, there is smell. Because of consciousness, there is touch and taste. So that's being aware. And now we have to observe. Observe the phenomenon, what is happening. So when we observe, using awareness, focusing on that, we come to know that presently the mind is vata. There is fear. So as soon as somebody says COVID-19, the body is having some tremor. very clear that Vata has taken over. How did it take over? It took over from the mind. So the sound came, COVID-19. Then the mind sent that information through a fear channel to the brain. Brain then released certain chemicals for the body to experience that fear, because mind is in fear. Somebody says COVID-19 and it doesn't seem anything to me except that it's a name. Nothing else is being there. And I feel that everything is this pure consciousness. Because of this consciousness, I can hear something. Then there is no COVID in the mind. If there is no COVID in the mind, there can't be any COVID in the body. So the sound has come through air, and air has carried it to space. So because of space, there is sound. The sound hits the eardrum, and it doesn't have any kind of connotations for it to pick up. So mind is in a tranquil or equanimity. And because it is in equanimous position, there is no release of certain amount of chemicals in the body. So the body doesn't experience that. If the body doesn't experience that, the vata turns itself into a cool breeze. And the mind being happy makes the body feel happy. So the mind experiences the happiness through the body. And the consciousness, this limited Atma, feels happiness through body and mind. So if the body is unhappy, the mind is unhappy, then the Atma is unhappy. If the body is happy, mind is happy, Atma is happy. To make body happy, mind has to be made happy. And this is the duty of the Atma, to make the mind clear out itself. And once we clear out, it's calm. It's very composed. It doesn't really matter. And because of that, ojas will increase in the body. When ojas is increased, it then makes the aura very strong. It doesn't allow anything to penetrate except for cosmic light. And there is no disease. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's all the journey is all about in terms of what we are trying to achieve. So we need to keep on watching it every moment, every hour, every day. What is that coming in the mind? And change that to something very good. So the practice of meditation here, if fear is coming, then you immediately bring another thought through the will, using the will, bring another thought of hope or of happiness. Don't fight with that thought which is negative. The fear, let it remain. But bring the thought which is filled with happiness and replace it. After some time, due to lack of energy given to that thought, the thought will collapse. It will not manifest. It's there in the lake, but doesn't manifest. This happiness manifests. Because this happiness manifests, the body doesn't get into vata and pitta. It will be stable, kapha. And because of that, the heart beats are lower and the blood pressure is lower, and there are no chemicals which are fired by the brain to make it something different. So we can keep on doing it in any situation. It doesn't matter. So we can understand through this Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and we can mentally see what is the constitution right now we are having. Body is prarabdha, mind is something which can be changed. So we change the perspective and the mindset, leaving the body aside. And body is not you. So body is coming out of the food we are eating. So then we find this inner gratitude that we are getting all of this food and shelter and clothing and medicine and all that. So we're doing it, the body becomes real calm because the mind is calm. Any other question?
See, this body is prarabdha.
Yeah.
Mind is also during this life is driven by prarabdha, right?
Correct.
Automatically.
Yes.
And then we have to, through free will, we have to change it.
Yes. This is the only thing you can change.
Yeah. But that way, body also can be changed through free will using these Ayurvedic precautions.
Yes, to a certain extent, that is what the medication is all about. But you can't.
See, for example,
Yes.
a person is supposed to suffer because of the prarabdha due to any disease for maybe length of 2 years, 3 years, and all that. So, one thing is it can be postponed through all this meditation. Other thing is it can be transferred to maybe another person. I don't know. So, maybe possible, or Siddha Purushas and all that. They don't do it knowingly. One more thing is you have to go through the cycle, and we do another bad karma during that time. Then it may go to the stage of further worsening. Instead of 3 years suffering, it may be 5 years suffering. The question is it really possible to what you call make it less compared to the impact?
Yeah, that is what we are doing with all medication. We are making the impact lesser, what is felt on the body. But you can't eliminate it. You can't eliminate the predisposition you have.
Yeah, it's like this. For example, it's a mainly pain, a person going through that during that time. Now you can give some medicine so that he will not feel the pain.
Correct.
That means his prarabdha is not enjoyed. Again, he has to go through another prarabdha cycle of going through the pain, right?
No, it's not
The
like
painkiller is not a medicine here.
No,
It's only postponing it.
No, it's not like that. See, we need to understand how prarabdha works on the mind and how prarabdha works on the body. The body is inert totally. It doesn't experience anything. The experiencer is the Atma for both, for the mind as well as for the body. Actually, whatever pain we are experiencing is not experienced by the body. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, fully agree. Yes.
Okay. So the body is not experiencing then. Correct.
Yes, correct.
How do we come to know? Because when they give, when they put this anesthesia, the body is not able to feel anything. That means from the beginning, the body was inert. Very simple. The consciousness is provided by the Atma. Let us take it as Atma. Okay. Now, prarabdha karma of body is due to multiple factors which have arisen into the birth cycle of that body. So it will have good things in the body, it will have bad things in the body, but because I am associated with the body, I find it painful and pleasurable because it is my body. Correct?
Yes.
Who is feeling this my body? The ahankara is feeling that it is my body. Okay, and ahankara is also part of Atma. So then ultimately Atma will get associated with the body saying that this is my body. I have to somehow take care of it. And it does 100 different things to take care of it. Now, with this practice of meditation, what are we trying to do is we are disengaging it from the body, that I am the body. First thing. Then comes I am the mind. By proper evaluation, you are cutting off that I am the mind also. So the prarabdha was associated with what? It was associated with mind and body.
Yes.
Both are gone. Both cannot influence now. Meaning that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It happens.
So what you are telling is prarabdha will act on both mind and body. Only thing is you are disengaging your Atma from there.
Correct.
And that's the reason the Atma will not feel anything.
Atma
It is a localized and only there is no feeling here now.
There's no
pain.
feeling. Yes, there is no pain or pleasure or anything. It knows that it is
Yes,
just coming.
prarabdha will happen, but no experience of pain.
No experience of pleasure and pain. Both are not.
Yeah, both.
happening.
Got it. Yeah.
Both
So
are
that
not.
is meditation.
That is
That is
meditation.
what we are telling. That's what you are telling. This prarabdha will come and go, but it will not have any impact on you if you do meditation.
Correct. So now what happens is that a disease will come. This person will still take medication. Not that he will not take medication, but he will not take medication thinking that it is his body.
Yeah. Everything is let go. It's nature.
It's nature. So you need to take, just like, there is, you have a tulsi and it has got some insects. So you need to spray. Otherwise
Yes.
that tulsi is going to die. So you want tulsi. So you need to spray and those insects will go away and it is all cured. So he does the same thing. This body is coming from the plant. So it is going to have infections, it will have all kind of dirty things happening. So he will let go of that I am the plant, I am this body. So he takes care of the body as though he should take care. And the mind also is now purified. So it is having sattva. So what will happen is he will just take care of the mind, ensuring that no dirty thing comes. Not that it is his mind, it is a mind only, like an equipment, upakarna. So now he is cut off from both mind and body. There is liberation. At present, he is a realized person that he is not the body, he is not the mind. Very clear, he knows it. That is called as self-realization. That is, you have understood yourself. Now comes liberation. That self also is gone. That self-view is also gone. With the self-view, that is the reflective consciousness also gone. That he is one unending consciousness, which never had any beginning nor the end, releases him from all bondages, all karma, be it prarabdha, sanchita, agami, whatever it is. Because the prarabdha was for the Atma. That also is not there now. When there is no enjoyer and sufferer, to whom it should then address it to? So whether he is a sinner or a saint, it doesn't really matter. This is what it is.
Yeah. That is clear.
Then in that case, shall we begin the Bhagavad Gita tomorrow or shall we do it now?
I'm okay.
I have to
Also fine.
have a call at 10 o'clock. I
Okay.
have a call at 10 o'clock. Plus, I have to get ready for that call.
Okay,
Then
then
I have to finish up some things before I go for that call.
and then in that case, let us end it now and then do it tomorrow morning. Not an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay, then. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.